Welcome to this video. Welcome to another edition of Wacky Wednesday. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness, the highest levels of love light. I just want to go into a little flow right now. Welcome. Got some beautiful weather right now, rain and thunder and lightning. So I'm wearing my Stranger Things hat in case you didn't know. This is I didn't want to do my hair look. Such a good show. So I'm just going to go into a little flow. This is not necessarily meant to be understood on a linear level. It's meant to be felt, but I feel there are some big messages going to be coming in. Wow. Big time. And as we sit in this energy, if you will, in this open expanse, the open expanse that we are all expanding out into, that we are diving into, that which has felt divided is now truly in equality. Yet there are many different plays playing out within the field. There are many different movies, if you will, that are playing on the reel, that have yet to be revealed. Pieces of the parts of the pie, of the whole, of the you, of the I, of the we, weaving together in this interconnectivity, in this interconnected activity that we are all participating in. For we are all participants, if you will. I'm seeing like wearing the pants. I'm the boss of me. In sovereignty, yet this doesn't always feel that way. We invite you in these energies to feel into the expansiveness that is being expressed right now, for all that is being expectorated. I've talked about this before. It's like things are being spit out right now, and we're kind of in this like influx of energies where we're really able to kind of tap in and feel like so much. This hat's a little too big for me. So we're being invited to feel into the much, into the expanse. For there has been no greater time than now. Play on words. For as you dip into these frequencies, as you allow yourself to dip your toes, if you will, as you allow yourself to express as twinkle toes, as the dancers, as the creator of the pros and the cons, as that which we have been conned into thinking is reality begins to fall away, fall apart, we begin to recognize the part that we have agreed to play in many circumstances. For we are all coming apart at the seams, as it seems. For all that seems that was tied together, we now sow the seeds that we have reaped, if you will. We now let go of the need to repeat what we have sown, what we have woven in the past. For we are now interweaving with the new realms of technology, the new realms of depositories, if you will, depositories. We are accessing a divine intervention, if you will. And this is a play on words, for we are intravenously connecting all that was, all that is, all that was playing out and will be. We are out tuning it, if you will. We are tuning into our inner to outer, and from that we are creating what it is that we are tuning out of. And I'll play with this a little bit in just a moment. Kini I'm seeing a lot of things. So we wove together this particular reality, and essentially what we are doing is we are not repeating the patterns. Some of us are, but a lot of us are like, whoa, wait a minute. I may have done that in the past, but I'm not going to repeat that this time around. And that can be in a relationship, a job. It could also just be, put on my hat backwards. There we go. It could also be, past lives, past, it could also be things patterns that we have. What I'm showing is that things are coming apart at the seams. The seams that seemed to hold things together have been loosened. The binds, right? The tie that binds has been untied. And many of us are slipping through the cracks. We have spoken on this before. For many of us I'm hearing the crack weavers. So what I'm seeing is like there's a lot of cracks that many of us are experiencing. It's kind of hot. There's all of these I'm hearing crackling rows. So when I say we're slipping through, we're creating a slip knot. We are not slipping up. We are not slipping up and slipping into a place where we don't have the sovereignty or the control that we used to agree to from one point of view. From one perspective, if you will. And so this seamlessness can make many of us feel lost, can make us almost feel, I'm going to pause for just a moment. So it can almost make us feel, I'm hearing lost in translation. Many of us are having difficulty translating what it is that we're experiencing. We're having difficulty expressing it in a linear aspect. And what my guides keep kind of saying is don't worry about it. Play with it. And I keep hearing the Lost Boys. So that's a play on words too. So there was this old energy that had a very vampiric quality to it. And when we gave into that energy, we gave our sovereignty to that energy and said, here, take this, and I will accept this movie that you are offering me, and I will play that role as your lead actor or actress. And what I'm being shown is that that's all gone. The script is gone. Now, oftentimes what I'm speaking of is the future, but the future is now. So sometimes in session, I'll work with someone and I'll share something with them, and then they won't think it makes sense, and then they'll email me 3 months later and be like, Carrie, guess what? And we all do that, right? We're all time travelers. We can all dip into the future. So we're being invited to dip into now, which is this vast convergence of past, present, and future. It's this vast convergence of a new energy that is the emergence of all of those things. I'm hearing urgent, urgent. And many of us feel foreign to this energy. For this is a foreign currency, if you will. It is a foreign currency. In essence, we are not used to expressing or experiencing in this way. Some of us are, but some of us are like, what is going on right now? There's no role for me to fulfill today, and that's okay. What can I just be? Can I just be present with myself? Can I just enjoy this opportunity? And then I'm also being shown, though, that some of us, though, our roles, our true roles, are being highlighted right now and easier accessed. But on the flip side, I'm being guided just for this now moment to be playful about it, because there is a lot of seriousness that is happening in the starseed community. The serious people, I'm hearing that's a play on words too, like the collective of Syrians, Sirius from the planet, the star system Sirius, that we are innately bound to. So some of us are pulling through aspects of the Sirius energies and the Lemurian frequencies and the Atlantean frequencies and the Arcturian, and we're bringing it all in this convergence. And this means our past, our future versions of us. And I just kind of went out there. It is Wacky Wednesday. I go out there all the time. But we're learning how to just be at peace with that. But when I say be at peace with that, it doesn't mean that peace, it means sometimes we feel like we're picking the pieces back up to bring us into wholeness. So there's a little piece over here and there's a little piece over there. I did a session with the starseed, which we're all starseeds, another human, we're all humans. We're all divine colors of the rainbow, right? Different colors, different hues, different gradients. But we're all here in our radiance of the divine that is embodied in this time, in this time capsule, if you will. Yet all that is within us is encapsulated within us. There is no time. Our time is now. And we are essentially birthing the completeness of all of those components. And when I say components, I see the word components. It's got the word one in it. And we're pulling together these remnants of different cycles, recycles, remnants, pieces, maybe soul shards, and we're picking up these lost pieces. And I keep hearing the lost boys. We're picking up the pieces that were perhaps given away knowingly or unknowingly. We're picking up the pieces that we have left. Some of us feel like we are the leftovers. Some of us feel that we're already embodiments of the fifth dimensional frequency of complete peace and love. And those beings, maybe one of you is watching this, that's what you've chosen for your role to play in this. And you're anchoring that frequency. And some that thought they were in that frequency are beginning to, I'm hearing the word total recall. So what I'm seeing is that we're having a total recall. Ooh. So all these remnants are essentially, picture, I kind of saw this before, but picture, I've talked about the Red Sea parting and we're the center. We're essentially drawing together these two mass walls of energy, and we're essentially playing with those. We are the bridges, right? We're helping those to intertwine and be more compatible so that it doesn't create mass destruction. Because if it continues to be separate and it builds and it builds and it builds, we're creating a type of unification. And what I'm seeing is we're picking up pieces of the past and remnants of these particles of particular energy exchanges, of particular realizations and civilizations that were birthed in previous time components, if you will. And we are pooling them together. And this includes artificial resources as well as organic resources. And what I'm being shown is that we are resourcing this in our own way. This is what I'm doing, at least from my perspective. It doesn't mean that everybody's doing this, but from another perspective, everybody is doing this in their own way. And we have all of these aspects that we might see as pieces or soul sparks. Oh, in session the other day, I've never finished this, but one of the beautiful light workers I was working with, I saw them literally calling these soul shards back to them. Oftentimes, if I'm working with people in, let's say I work with several people in one day or over the course of a few days, there will be these similarities. And the similarities, a lot of times, are messages that is being shared for a collective experience. It used to be a lot of times I would do a session and that would be a very unique and individual situation that this particular person I was working with was experiencing or expressing. But what I find more and more is that many of us are experiencing this as a collective. Maybe it's a group within a group, and that group within a group is experiencing a particular memory. And when I say memory, I'm seeing memorialization. So we think of memorization. What I'm seeing is that we're bringing these memories into realization so that they can be accessed for a higher consciousness formation. So a lot of things that we've forgotten we are connecting with now. And again, I'm being guided to go back to the Lost Boys and recognizing and playing with that movie just for a moment, that those boys created, it's a vampire movie. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a classic. They're basically dark forces from one perspective, but they are essentially a tribe that they created within themselves, and they tried to pull other people in. But that's shifted. That I'm being shown as an example. They're remembering, wait a minute, I was human before I became this thing. And I can remember that aspect of me that I chose to give away because I wanted power, or I was duped, or whatever it might be. However, they gave their power away. They gave away the power of being a human for the power of being an immortal, for example. I'm being shown that this is just a representation of what a lot of people are experiencing. There's a lot of people in the collective that are feeling lost, and I just went into 10 different places because they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be this thing anymore. This is not who I am. I remember a deeper level. I remember that there was a deeper part of me that felt more united and whole. And that's what I am wanting to experience now, to come back home, to come back into wholeness and oneness. The other aspect is that there's another collective who felt like they were there, and now they're just like, poof, where am I? Who am I? And what happened to this put together version of myself that thought I had it figured out? And it may not even be from an egoic standpoint. It might just be that everything's been working, and now all of a sudden it's not working in the same way because what seems like it's good now has all of the, being shown the tread in the tires. Like it's coming up underneath and you have to get new tires because the road that maybe you're choosing consciously or unconsciously, it needs a different set of tires, needs a different set of traction, needs a different set of pause. It needs us to pause and recognize that this is not going to get us where we want to go. It may have worked 5 minutes ago, but now everything that's underneath it, the wires are being exposed. And so those seams are tearing apart. What seems like it might be the right thing to do a year ago now no longer seems that way because that was true for the time, but now it is false. It no longer is. And I'm hearing it's flat. So that note in which that reality was vibrating at has fallen flat. And now it's not carrying that signature frequency out far enough, or the road with those tires, right? We got to change those tires out. I'm showing like a mountain bike versus a street bike. We were on a smooth pavement. Now we got to throw on those mud tires in order to get us over this next mountain. And what I'm being shown is once we get over that mountain, sit in the mountain for a little bit, enjoy the nature. And that's where I'm being shown, have fun with it. Wow, here I am climbing up this hill. I've got everything that I need, or maybe I don't, but you still have to stop and smell the roses. You still have to stop. Well, you don't have to, but I'm being shown that that's part of this is the journey. And there's so many people who have been, this is another topic that's been coming through, not only in session, but also I'm seeing it in a collective group that are doing what one might refer to as spiritual bypassing. They are in their own little bubble and they don't want to experience. They want to go over the mountain. They don't want to, and they want to get to the top and just look at things from up there. And that's the role that they're choosing to play. But there are those that were on that path that ended up getting a flat tire along the way, lost their steam, lost their note, and now they're like, uh-oh, now what? Now I'm experiencing something that has brought my emotions into another layer that I never knew I could express before or wanted to express. And again, I'm being guided to go back to the foreigner, urgent. It's like, uh-oh, emergency. This is foreign to me. I am love and light, and I am sunshine and rainbows, and I am already in the fifth dimension, and I am holding space for others. And then all of a sudden, someone in your family gets sick, or that person experiences, an accident, and then that pulls them in. They may not be in the accident themselves. I'm using this as an example, but they get pulled into someone else's bubble who maybe needs the support of the human that is able to experience it with them, or hold a space that isn't necessarily what they were holding before, if that makes sense. So there's definitely some little shifts that are happening in our road. And for those that are, and it's all good, meaning, we could label it and say it's not all good. Obviously, if someone's in a car accident, doesn't feel good. Whether you're in the accident or you're experiencing the emotions associated with the person who you love who was in the accident, or is sick, or is going through a loss, or is going through addiction, or we could go infinite with the things that come up in life. And there are those of us that are required right now to be that bridge and to not necessarily be on top of the mountain. There are those that are on top of the mountain that are holding that space. And there are those that are in the thick of it that are choosing, or subconsciously or unconsciously, I guess that could be both, consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, they're choosing to be in this, and they want to feel the anger. They want to feel, or they don't know how else to feel other than anger or shame or blame. And when we've been there and we've experienced it ourselves, oftentimes it can be easy for us to look back on it from on top of the mountain and say, oh no, you just need to come up here. We're all one. It's all good. But the process of getting there isn't the same for everybody. Some people get a flat tire. Some people want to stop and sit with the bears going up the mountain. Some people want to stop and smell the roses and not, part of this expansion is the journey. And we say that as yoga teachers, right? Or in yoga, we say it's not about the pose. It's not about it's not about crow pose. It's about the journey getting there. Because then when you get there, you have all this experience behind you, and you feel more empowered by coming into a beautiful pose that you've worked on. Because it's that experience that makes us human, that makes us hybrids, right? That makes us the bridge between those realities. So we're all in different places. And sometimes the role we chose to play may have been that person. And I'm not saying this as by the way, a hierarchy thing. Like, just because that person sitting on top of the mountain doesn't make them a more advanced being, and vice versa. So sometimes I call it, we're in it. Everything is falling apart around us, and we're not really sure which direction to go. And it's just like having that really good cry. We have that really good cry, and then afterwards we just feel empty, because it's a cleansing, and sometimes we have to get all that up in order to feel that cleansing space. Kuenek iwahen amakunoit ia. Lushtamak unahea wa itine kikiwa inek ineheawa. And so we come into this place, we come into this space, and we are going through a period of time right now that is truly different than we've ever experienced before. In this way, in this particular reality zone, if you will. By the way, if I accidentally end early, I apologize. I'll have to start another video because I can only go up to like 33 minutes on my phone. This space that we are in holds a capacity of complete expansion and expression in expansion. We all expand in our own way. So for those of us who are expressing, we are being invited to, okay, when I say express, ooh, I just went into like 10 different. Let me just hone back in. Neo Koena. I'm hearing radioactive, all right, so kuen awa mekini it ia kuen ishte wa hekini. The earth is going through many changes. The cosmos, I'm hearing the uppermost atmosphere, is going through a massive quantum expelling. So when I think of expelling, I think of creation, expansion, and like a geyser, you know, blowing out all of that, or a volcano. Be in this space, be in this form of expression, allow your own form and flow of expression to be birthed, yet allow others to be, I'm just hearing, to be. Allow others to be too. We don't have to push our form on someone else's way, form. There's a fine line between being pushy, right, and just being I just went into so many different layers. So I'm just going to end on that note. I'm just going to be in this space right now with the rain. I invite you to take a deep breath in and a long exhale. Just moving some energy around. Feel free to sing along. I'm just going to go until I run out of room. experience is giving birth to our experience, to our expression. We're remembering many of the versions of reality that we have experienced, that we have already expressed, or that we will be expressing now. So I'm hearing, don't get lost in the reality influx, the convergence, if you will. For as we emerge from this, we carry with us all of those frequencies, yet we make the choice to allow. I'm just seeing so much. So I'm going to end on that note, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Basically, there's a lot going on, and we can feel a little lost with everything going on. And it's okay to feel like we need to change our tires or find our footing. But in doing that, just allow ourselves to get lost in the adventure, but not to lose sight of this extrasensory, essentially we're turning on this extrasensory grid, and so it can feel wonky. But we are merely opening up into the next level of awareness. And so when we level up, right, sometimes that can create a feeling of insecurity. So our security can be found in enjoying the ride, in however we can do that, enjoyment. So as often as we can. It doesn't mean that every moment will be enjoyable or we'll be able to enjoy every moment, for we are all experiencing different levels of again, experience. So honoring wherever you're at. You're not alone in this. We're all going through this massive shift together. I say massive shift. We could let go of the F. Sometimes it just feels like a whole lot of crap. All right, guys, in love and light, thank you so much for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. Namaste.